Start game now.
I ain't afraid of no ghost, at least not when Pac-Man's around and he has an extra power pellet handy. Hello friends, this is your friend the No Swear Gamer here on Retro Reviews. Today we continue our ABCs of Retro series with the Atari 2600 game Haunted House. That's right, the letter H is for Haunted House today. And you know what? This cartridge looks great and has some great artwork. Check that out. You have a spooky spider, you have a pair of eyes that look very frightful, and a bat. Ooh, and he's blurry. That is some great artwork right there, and it actually has a lot to do with today's game. Now, Haunted House came to us in either 1981 or 1982. Depends who you ask. My cartridge has a 1986 label, but that's just because this is a re-release cartridge for your 2600. Okay, so we're going to pop this into our game system in just a second here, but before I put this in my Atari 7800, let me just tell you that Haunted House gave me some problems of video recording, so you might notice a little lower quality of video than earlier videos. That's because when I had it on the higher quality, it seems that the video would only grab one of the sprites at a time, so either you get the eyes or you get the match effect, not both at the same time. It was a very bizarre thing, so I had to lower the quality a little bit, but I think it's still going to be a good time. So let's go ahead, and if we dare, let's enter the Haunted House. Many years ago, in the small town of Spirit Bay, there lived a man named Zachary Graves. He was a grumpy old man. No one liked him, and he lived in a solitary, large mansion. Probably saying stuff like, "Hey, you kids, get off my lawn." Yes, old man Graves lived in this house. Eventually, he finally passed away one day, but rumor has it that there's an urn in the house that for some reason is special to this town, but during the earthquake, it was broken into 3 pieces, just like real life. You know how urns break all the time during earthquakes? Yep, so it's your goal to go through the house, find the 3 pieces, and escape with your life. In the game, you are given 9 lives, and you're also given an unlimited amount of matches, and you will need to use the matches because in the house, any items that you are going to pick up, you need to be able to see, and the only way you will see them is by lighting a match. Now, if you do not have the match lit, it doesn't matter if you walk over the item, you will not pick it up. And an interesting mechanic, you have to have the match lit in order to pick up a piece. You're only allowed to hold one thing at a time. If it is an earned piece, however, and you get another one, you must have some super glue with you because they automatically combine up to all 3 pieces. Some other items that you will find, depending on the game variation, include a scepter, which you hold, which will help you to prevent to get scared to death by the enemies. I will touch on that in just a minute. A master key, because some versions of the game have locked doors, and of course the pieces of the urn. Now, you can get scared to death because in this mansion are many spooky creatures, including a large tarantula, a bat, and a ghost that is believed to be Old Man Graves himself. Ooh. Every time you enter a room with one of the creatures or they enter a room with you, your match is blown out, and it's your job to skedaddle before they touch you and take one of your 9 lives. I guess you're a cat in this game. You never really know because all you are is a pair of eyeballs, but it's an effective pair of eyeballs. This game uses very simplistic graphics and everything it does, but they do the job well. As a matter of fact, I think the use of the eyeballs is one of the most clever, simple uses on the Atari 2600. As a matter of fact, when your game is over, you can continue to move your eyeballs around if you wish, looking in all directions, even though you're frozen stiff. So that is just basic graphics. Nothing too fancy. The bat doesn't look too fancy. The ghost looks pretty good for an Atari 2600 game, and then you can tell the spider's a spider and what the items are. But other than that, not too fancy on the graphics. This is where box art really helps to set the mood of the game. Also, the sounds are nothing spectacular, but they do a very effective job. This is a game where less is more because you're in a haunted house. So having less graphics and having less sound actually works very effectively. You will hear yourself climbing up and down stairs. When you go up, the pitch will go up, boom, boom, boom. And when you go down, the pitch goes down, boom, boom, boom. And when you get hit by one of the enemies, you'll hear this crash of lightning and your eyes just go all over the place. And it's great fun. And if you are able to make it out of the house with all 3 pieces of the urn alive, you'll be treated to the Twilight Zone theme. I don't know how they got away with that. I'm guessing they just kept it hush hush. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Twilight Zone, at least the original Twilight Zone theme playing when you get out of the house. Now, this game has several variations, 9 to be exact. The first one is the simplest. You can see the walls. There are no locked doors. You can pretty easily get around the house. The animals don't move too quickly, but as you go on through the various variations, you will find that all of a sudden you can no longer see the walls of the house. You only can use your matches. In some variations, there will be locked doors where you can find a master key, and depending on the variation, the key might be in a random spot or it might be in the same spot every time. And as you increase your variations, every variation is basically an increase in difficulty. You'll notice that the creatures can start to chase you better, and starting in game 7 variation, the bat will have a very devastating effect where if he touches you, whatever you're holding on to, you will drop. And not only will you drop it, it will go into one of the rooms of this house. Now, this house is divided into 4 floors, and it was one of the first earliest games to use this kind of multi-map system, if you will. Every floor has 6 rooms, but of course, sometimes you will have locked doors to deal with, and you can use different stairways to get around. You do not need the key to get around the locked doors. You just need to know which stairs to go up and down, and you will end up doing a little backtracking if you want to get around the house without using the key, which is kind of what I stuck to, because if you're holding the key, you can't pick up any of the other items. And since I tried to avoid the creatures as it was, I didn't really hold on to the scepter unless that's the only thing I was holding on to. Now, one thing that is kind of neat about this game is, for the most part, the game randomizes where the items are put. As a matter of fact, during this video, I accidentally did a speed run. That's right. Using the game 1 variation, I beat the game in under 15 seconds. Why is that? Well, that's because all 3 pieces of the urn happen to be very close on the first floor. I just had to go through 4 rooms. So I beat the game in 15 seconds, and that was despite getting hit by one of the creatures. So yeah, how about that? Sometimes luck will break your way, sometimes not so much. So is this a family-friendly game? I would say pretty much so. The scariest stuff about this game is the backstory and the artwork. And to be honest, it's not going to scare too many kids. You'd have to be pretty young to be spooked by that. I'm sure there's some little kids who could be spooked by such things. But if you're just looking at the screen, for the most part, it looks goofy, and I'm sure most kids would laugh at it. They did try to remake this game on the Wii, but that was not well received. But they also have packaged this game multiple times in collections, including some of the flashback units, and one of the collections on the DS, which is my preferred way of playing this. So, what did I think of Haunted House on the Atari 2600? Well, this might be nostalgia talking to me. I really enjoyed this game, and I did enjoy this game when I was younger as well. I bought this at a garage sale for my original 7800, which I no longer have. I now have like my 3rd unit because I bought and sold so many. But this game is just a blast of fun. Sometimes I just enjoy playing the Game 1 variation. Yes, it's very easy, but you know what? There's something relaxing to me to that easy game. I know that in 5 minutes I will defeat it. I know I do have to get around some of the enemies. Sometimes if I just want to kick back and relax, that does well just for me. And sometimes if I want to turn it up a notch, you can just increase the difficulty level by exploring one of the 9 regions. See if you can beat the ultimate version in game number 9. I did. I was very fortunate to do it that time because the bat never touched me, so I didn't lose anything. That helps a lot. So where would I rank Haunted House for the Atari VCS, as you will? Well, you're going to be surprised, but I'm going to rank this rather high. It is definitely going in my top 5 because this is a game that, despite the minimalistic approach that approach really works for it, and it's just plain fun. I enjoy playing Haunted House, walking around the match and pushing a button to light your match, which, by the way, will blow out from time to time, so you'll have to relight it. You can't survive on one match. But it's a very simple game. All you have to worry about is collecting pieces and lighting matches and going from room to room. And no matter what variation you play, I find that I enjoy it. It is a go-to game. So guess what? I would rather play this than Castle of Illusion because of just the simplicity and the replayability and the fact that it randomizes stuff. I'd even rather play this than Aladdin. Yes, this might be controversial to some, but I'm going to put Haunted House in my number 2 slot. I think Bust-A-Move 2 for the PlayStation 1 has a little bit more replayability and offers a multiplayer, which is excellent in that game. But man, Haunted House is just a really good one-player experience. If you have an Atari 2600 and for some reason you've never checked this out, I highly recommend that you do. So there you go, Haunted House for the Atari 2600 system. Next up, we are going to do the letter I in the ABCs of Retro Gaming Series, and I accidentally already gave you guys a clue a couple episodes ago, but here it goes again. Ooh, the claw has chosen me. So let's see if you can understand exactly what I'm talking about with that. It's time for shout-outs, and I'm a little behind because I forgot to do it the past couple episodes. So excuse me if I forgot anybody, but I will try and get everyone right now. So let's start out by the gang at the Retro Obscura podcast. That would be Dub, Aaron, and Sweet, who have been very helpful in feedback, especially in selecting these games, as well as Mark, who is super, Eric, Jotham, Joe, and Tripcore, who I just like saying his name, Tripcore. You can find out more about the Retro Obscura podcast by going to theretrojunkies.com because I am now part of that network as well. You can also find out more about me by going to facebook.com/thenosweargamer. Anyways, thank you for joining me this time on Retro Reviews, and I look forward to seeing you next time as well.